Are the Dallas Cowboys about to quietly build one of the most dangerous linebacker units in the league by bringing back Jordyn Brooks? And first, it might not sound like a blockbuster, but this could be the kind of smart, calculated move that transforms a defense from good to dominant. Some fans believe adding Brooks would bring speed, tackling, and leadership to the middle of the field, while others question whether it's enough to truly elevate the unit. So what's the real plan here, and how serious is this possibility? Because if Dallas pulls this off, their defense could become a major problem for every offense they face. The Dallas Cowboys didn't just walk into draft night hoping to patch a few holes. They walked in with a mission, and by the time it was over, they may have completely changed the identity of their defense. Because let's be real for a second, this was a defense that had serious problems. We're talking bottom 3 in the league in yards allowed last season. That's not just a weakness, that's a liability. That's the kind of stat that keeps you out of championship conversations no matter how good your offense looks. So what did Dallas do? They attacked it aggressively. First, they made a move up the board with Miami to grab one of the most talked about defensive prospects in the entire draft, a safety who many believed had top 5 talent, a guy who somehow kept slipping, and Dallas took full advantage. Caleb D. And then, instead of sitting still, they stayed active. They moved down from pick 20 to 23 and still got their guy, Malachi Lawrence, an explosive edge rusher out of UCF with serious upside. Just like that, safety and pass rush addressed in one night. And not just addressed, upgraded in a big way. Now here's the real question everyone's asking. How much better did Dallas actually get? The answer? A lot better. Possibly exponentially better. Let's start with Caleb D, because this is where things get really interesting. This isn't just another rookie safety. This is a player with one of the highest floors in the entire draft. That means you already know what you're getting. There's no long development curve, no wait-and-see phase. This is a plug-and-play guy. From day one, he steps into that defense and immediately improves communication. He reads plays early. He anticipates. He reacts faster than most players at his position. And that's exactly what Dallas has been missing on the back end. Think about it. How many times last season did blown coverages or late reactions cost them big plays? Too many. Now imagine a safety who cleans that up instantly. And when you pair him with a defensive coordinator who loves to get creative, that's where it gets dangerous. Because the plan here isn't just to play safe, it's to evolve. Too high safety looks, disguises, rolling into the box, Caleb D gives them the flexibility to do all of it. He's not just filling a role, he's unlocking options.
And then there's Malachi Lawrence.
This is a completely different type of weapon. Raw? Yes. Still developing? Absolutely. But the traits are what make scouts excited. We're talking about a guy who ran a 4.52. That's speed, real speed for an edge rusher. Add in his explosive first step, his ability to get into the backfield, and production like 11 tackles for loss and 7 sacks. And now you're looking at someone who can disrupt plays immediately. He may not be a finished product yet, but he doesn't need to be. Because what Dallas just did is bring in a player who can grow into something special while still contributing right away. And here's what makes this entire draft approach even more impressive. They didn't panic. They didn't reach for needs. They didn't try to silence critics. They stayed disciplined and let the board come to them. That's not always something you say about this franchise, but when they get it right, they really get it right. Now, there is one thing hanging over all of this. One question that hasn't been answered yet. And that's the situation with George Pickens. Because, let's be honest, that situation could change everything. If Pickens is fully locked in, playing on that franchise tag and ready to go, this team suddenly looks like a serious contender.
Not just good, not just competitive. We're talking about a team that could actually matter deep into the season.
But there's uncertainty. There's always that feeling like something could happen. A trade, a holdout, a surprise move nobody sees coming.
And that's where the hesitation comes in. Because as much as you love what Dallas just did defensively, the full picture isn't complete yet. Still, focusing back on the defense, there's another layer to this conversation that can't be ignored.
And that's health.
Specifically with Caleb D.
No one is questioning his talent. That's not even part of the discussion.
The only concern that's been floating around is his knee, the meniscus issue. The fact that he didn't go through every test at the combine the way some teams might have liked.
That's enough to make people pause. Because when you're drafting a player this high, you want certainty.
You want to know he's ready. Fully ready.
But from everything coming out after the draft, the belief is that he's good to go. He's been checked by multiple doctors. Teams did their evaluations, and he's been cleared.
So now it becomes a risk versus reward conversation.
And if you're Dallas, you're betting on the reward. Because when this guy is on the field at full strength, he's elite. Not just good, not just solid, elite.
The kind of player who doesn't just improve your defense, he elevates it.
And if that's what you're getting, then yes, it's worth it. Now, let's take this a step further. What if the Cowboys aren't done?
What if this defense still isn't complete?
Because there's a name starting to float around that makes a lot of sense. Jordyn Brooks.
And if you're a Cowboys fan, this is where things get really exciting.
Dallas has already shown you what they're trying to do. They've invested heavily in fixing this defense. They've added pieces. They've made moves. They've clearly identified where they needed help.
But linebacker, that's still a question.
They've added young talent, players with energy, speed, upside. But what they don't have yet is proven production at a high level.
That's where Brooks comes in. This is not a projection. This is not a maybe he can develop into something. This is a guy who already did it.
183 total tackles last season, 99 solo, 3.5 sacks.
Those are impact numbers.
That's someone who lives around the football, someone who cleans things up, someone who brings consistency to a position that desperately needs it.
And when you look at Miami's situation, it gets even more interesting.
They've added talent on defense. They're building depth, which means, depending on how they view their roster, they could be open to moving a piece.
If that happens, Dallas should absolutely be on the phone.
Because Brooks isn't just a fit on the field. He's a fit for the story.
Born in Dallas, Texas roots, a chance to come home and be part of rebuilding this defense.
That's the kind of move that connects with fans instantly. But beyond the story, it's about the impact.
Imagine adding Brooks to this defense alongside the rookies they just drafted.
Now you're not just hoping for improvement.
Now you're expecting it.
Now you're building something that can actually compete.
Of course, it all comes down to cost.
Nothing like this comes cheap.
And Dallas already spent assets in the draft.
So the front office has to decide, how aggressive do they want to be?
Do they trust the young guys to develop?
Or do they go get a proven player and accelerate the process? That's the decision. That's the moment.
Because if the goal is to stop being average defensively, if the goal is to actually become a problem for opposing offenses, then this is the kind of move you consider.
So now it comes down to you.
Would you make that call?
Would you bring Jordyn Brooks back to Texas and complete this defensive rebuild?
Or would you roll with what you have and trust the development?
Either way, one thing is clear.
The Dallas Cowboys are not sitting still anymore.
They've made their move.
And the rest of the league is starting to notice.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like the video and subscribe for more Cowboys updates.